In your headlines, the new Omicron variant has hit the region. Cruise ships are officially back in Grand Turk, and TCIG takes step towards MET office. From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providenciales, your #1 source for news, I'm Erica Pinales, bringing the latest from across the country this Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. Cruise ships are officially back in Grand Turk after almost 2 years. Take a look.
Cruise travel resumed in the Turks and Caicos Islands after being shut down in March 2020. The first ship to pull into port was the MS New Amsterdam. Welcoming the ship back this morning at the cruise center was the Premier, the Honorable Washington Mizik, along with Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Edwin Ashwood, Carnival officials, other elected members of government, vendors, and the public.
The AG is working on a resolution to bring to the House this morning to write off additional penalties so that those persons who are eager to get their businesses open could benefit from that relief.
And we will pass.
The other thing I would like to remind the community of Grand Turk, as I said, this is a journey. Our agreement will change to a certain extent. We've been particularly careful to craft a new arrangement, and that is by way of the Grand Turk Enhancement and Sustainability Fund. There will be now $3 per passenger, and this would mean with a capacity of 6,000 passengers on a ship. And when I look at the schedule so far, as David has said, it looks like we're going to have a packed season. And what I think, of course, we've learned that the man proposes and God disposes. So to the extent that the good Lord will bless us and keep pandemics and other major external shocks away from our shores, we expect a great tourist season.
Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Edwin Ashwood, and one of 2 elected representatives for Grand Turk shared similar sentiments.
We are so grateful here to see the return of the ships. Captain, it warms my heart to see you pull in this morning. Marie, David, thank you very much for all the help that you have given this port and this community. Honorable Premier and your team, thank you very much for bringing this to fruition. We are so happy as a part of the community of Grand Turk to see some 20 months with half of your population not working, half of your businesses closed down, stores not making money, restaurants not making money, apartments empty. For some 20 months, it was hard, but now I hope that is over and we can move forward. I only say to our visitors, when you come here, respect our people, respect our customs, respect our culture, and most of all now, respect our protocols.
A representative of Carnival Corporation also brought remarks, speaking to the oncoming developments for the Grand Turk Cruise Center and their collaboration with the government.
On behalf of Carnival Corporation, our entire Grand Turk team, thank you. Thank you to all of the government representatives, agencies that made today possible. You remember it's just 2 months ago today, October 13th, that we signed the Supplemental Development Agreement. Based upon your partnership with our team and our company, we moved and we progressed, we worked around the clock. So the arrival today and the beautiful ship, the New Amsterdam, is only possible today from the incredible hard work that all of the community, all of our team, all of our partners, all of our tour operators, all of the tenants, all of the retail in Margaritaville, this whole experience of what we call the Grand Turk destination has been made possible within 60 days, and an incredible accomplishment. So only a thank you again on that, and that is just the start, as we've talked about this new investment of $25 million to enhance Grand Turk, to welcome the additional larger ships, to increase the potential of business opportunities for all of those, whether they're in here in the cruise center or anywhere on Grand Turk. So we very much look forward to this continuing partnership. This has been a favorite destination, and I'm happy to be part of this, going back to the early 2000s and seeing today a ship come again from our almost 2-year pause is an incredible feeling.
The Minister of Tourism also shared her thoughts.
December 13, 2021 will be a day to remember by all of the island of Grand Turk. The arrival of the new Amsterdam brings much needed hope for Grand Turk, as many will be able to return to a sustainable livelihood. From dive masters to tour operators, there is much to be grateful for, despite the current global crisis. I want to say to you this morning that tourism is the lifeblood of our economy. Over 70% of our GDP is derived from tourism. So I want you to know that we have to nourish that. Turks and Caicos is the only place, I believe, that depends on tourism, except for, I believe, Moscow, but I stand to be corrected. So you know how important it is for us to do what we have to do to keep what we have. Honorable Lotus Morris and myself, we sailed on the ship into Grand Turk this morning. What an experience. I love Grand Turk even more. It was amazing. Everything looked green and pristine. Grand Turk, I'm here for you. We're here for you. We want to put the capital back in the nation's capital. And my government, we're going to do just that.
For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Isles.
On Monday, the House of Assembly convened for its last sitting of the year. Among the issues discussed was a waive on penalties for cruise industry businesses. Take a look.
The write-off of the penalties and arrears attached to business license for cruise tourism operators in the nation's capital comes on the heels of a cruise tourism sector assistance program, which was intended to help these operators get back in business when cruising resumes. The motion before the House yesterday, tabled by the Honorable Erwin J. Saunders, Minister of Finance and Deputy Premier, sought to offer even more relief to operators who are still struggling. The minister offered a brief update on how many businesses have accessed the cruise stimulus and spoke to the intention behind the new government motion.
For yours and the public consumption, I just want to talk very briefly that we have 135 applicants. Only 12 were declined, and 74 have already received their approval, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, for them, that's money in the bank for those businesses. Notwithstanding everything that I said, Mr. Speaker, in looking at the program, we found that while many businesses were able to pay up their business license fees, unfortunately, a significant number of businesses were unable to do so. As a result, Mr. Speaker, penalties have been accruing on a monthly basis at a rate of 10% for each month, or part of each month, on the business license fees that remain unpaid. In addition, Mr. Speaker, those businesses face an additional hardship as the outstanding business license renewal restricted them from applying for the Cruise Sector Assistance Program as one of the criteria that they had to show that a proof of their business license being paid out. So to help these businesses, Mr. Speaker, this is the right thing to do so. The people's government, our government, has seen it fit to waive the business license fee penalties. Mr. Speaker, before a bill or motion in this case makes its way to the Honorable House for debate, it must pass through Cabinet. And before it gets to Cabinet, it is sent out for comments from various heads of departments, the relevant heads of departments. And I'd like to read one of those comments, Mr. Speaker. It says, there is a burden that comes with an unsurmountable debt, particularly during times of financial struggle. If approved, the write-off can serve as an incentive to businesses and afford them the opportunity to start afresh, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. By bringing this motion to this Honorable House today, our caring government, the people's government, is giving businesses a fresh start, particularly businesses here in the nation's capital.
He says the motion is to get Turks and Caicos' own businesses back on their feet and to go from surviving to thriving. The minister explained that some $20,000+ is being written off and explains the categories it applies to.
Whereas on the 13th of December 2021, the Cabinet authorized the House of Assembly approval be sought to write off the outstanding penalties for the categories of businesses set out below that have been verified or assessed as uncollectible in the amount of $21,365.50 for a person who registered a business for the island of Grand Turk in the following years, 2018 to 2021. These businesses are broken out in the category and activity with an ID on the table. So I'm going to read out the category and the activity. Automotive, that's a motor vehicle rental. Agriculture, manufacturing, processing, that's native arts and craft specialty stores, wholesale or retail. Personal care services, including hair braiding, spa, massage parlors, and body works. Transportation services, bus service, mass transportation, taxi services, and VIP transport. Entertainment, recreation, and events, that includes event planning and coordination. Tourism, real estate, hospitality services, that includes eco-heritage tours and camping site operations, land-based tour operations, provision of tourism services, other, water sports equipment sales and rental, water tours less than 30 feet. That's the boat size. And whereas paragraph 2, subsection 3 of Schedule 2 to the business licensing regulations provides that if a license fee has not been paid at all or is not paid in full within 1 month of the due date, 1st of April in each year, the fee, or as the case may be, the part of the fee remaining unpaid.
Leader of the opposition and his party colleague in Parliament backed the motion fully.
Anything that is good for the people, we will definitely support. And Mr. Speaker, I do support this, but I smile because a few debates, Mr. Speaker, and anybody can go back to the tapes, go back to the videos, Facebook videos, or the recordings. I mentioned this, that while we were not considering this, that a lot of people couldn't pay their business license, and the Honorable Minister looked like he just laughed at me. I don't know if he take me on or what during that time, but I'm happy that members of the government saw it fit to put it in. I don't know, again, I like to put my credit where it's due. I don't know if it's the backbenchers of the House of Assembly or cabinet members. But whoever did it, Mr. Speaker, and whoever really brought it home to the government that this must be put in place, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank them, and thank them on behalf of the people of the Turks and Caicos. So I'm looking at the ministers and I'm looking at the backbenchers. I don't know if it's one or the other or both, or both. Well, whoever did it, yes. The Honorable Minister said they are one, so I will thank you all for finally bringing it. This is important for the people. I am disappointed, Mr. Speaker, about the low number, 21,365. It looked like a number of our people were a little bit too late to benefit from this write-off, Mr. Speaker. Our only thing in liking this and supporting it, I just hope that it could have been done earlier, where a lot of people may not have to put themselves in debt, further debt, just to get the monies to bring up to their business license if they know maybe I don't have the money to pay it, but this write-off is coming, Mr. Speaker, because I look at the amount, 21,365 appears very low. Yes. Oh, the Honorable Opposition appointed member is talking about maybe a refund of the people who did pay, Mr. Speaker. But also, Mr. Speaker, I hope that something like this also will look at the beach vendors and providenciales who may have also been out of business for a number of months, not as long as the beach vendors and the operators here in Grand Turk, but suddenly they had some months where they were seeing no visitors to the Turks and Caicos Islands, no economic activity.
For PTV News Watch, I am Delana Isles.
It's time for a quick break. When we return, more News Watch.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Honorable Musgrove, Minister of Immigration and Border Services, led a delegation to the Bahamas on a series of meetings to establish the needs and benefits of investing in national meteorological and hydrological services. From a recent press conference, we've gathered that members of the TCI delegation that accompanied Honorable Musgrove were Dr. Holly Hamilton, Director of Meteorology at the TCIAA, Mr. Mark Wilkinson, Radio Communications and Telecommunications Manager at DDME, and Ms. Karen Higgs, Personal Assistant at the Ministry of Immigration and Border Services. The TCI delegation met with Honorable Miles LaRoda, Minister of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, and Honorable Mario Boleg, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, acting on behalf of the Minister of Transport and Housing. This meeting focused on the development and delivery of MET services, country collaborations, resource mobilization, training opportunities, and knowledge exchange that will play a key role in disaster risk management and contribute significantly to disaster risk reduction. During this visit, sources tell us that the TCI delegation also had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Trevor Baston and Mr. Jeffrey Simmons, Director and Deputy Director, respectively, of the Department of Meteorology. The delegation toured the Bahamas Forecast Office and the Doppler Weather Radar Facility in New Providence. We're informed that a national MET office will provide critical data and services such as localized impact-based forecasting and risk information, including authoritative warnings, in such a way that the appropriate stakeholders and decision makers and the general public can take actions to protect lives, reduce economic losses and disaster risks, and ultimately increase community resilience through structural and non-structural measures, preventative, responsive, and adaptive. Honorable Arlington Musgrove, commenting on the visit, said, to deal with fundamental issues such as population safety and security, water and food security, economic growth and sustainable development, enhancing resilience to disasters and climate change, we have to develop and implement effective policies and strategies that take into consideration the challenges of climate variability and change and promote fundamental tenets of societal and environmental governance. Sources say that the Bahamas Forecast Office provides the TCI DDME with daily weather updates and the TCIAA with weather information for aviation purposes. They say that as they continue to build capacities in various sectors, visiting the Bahamas Forecast Office, they were provided with a closer look at the support and partnership that they share on a daily basis, along with information and future planning of the development of these critical entities, such as DDME and TCIAA Meteorological Office. Health and safety are still number one at the top of the list of priorities for government as the nation's capital welcomed cruise visitors back to its soil. This coming from the Minister of Health during the port's reopening and another major announcement. Here's a look.
The cruise industry is a major contributor to the tune of some $86 million plus to ensure the safety and protection and lives and livelihoods, particularly for the community of Grand Turk. My ministry has worked tirelessly and collaborated with stakeholders to formulate robust protocols and measures.
Minister of Health Honorable Jamel Robinson says there was a strong partnership between the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism, Tourist Board, the Road Safety Department, GT Cruise Center, Carnival Cruise Line, CARFA, and CARICOM to formulate protocols for the safe arrival of the cruise ship after the 21-month closure.
The team within the Ministry of Health has formulated strong protocols to balance the risk of cruise ships returning to Grand Turk with public health and safety. The essence of these protocols include pre-boarding and on-boarding testing, vaccination requirements for passengers, information sharing between the ship and local health authorities before docking in our waters, and of course, health measures for visitors once they are on shore.
While rarely mentioned, the cruise industry experienced its fair share of turmoil, as while other industries and transportation services were integrating back to business, the cruise industry was levied stricter requirements for resumption and perhaps saw the longest and most difficult reestablishment process.
With the resumption of the cruise industry to the TCI and the festive season around the corner, please continue to be safe and take necessary measures. Maintain your face mask to cover both your nose and mouth when around others. Keep physical distance, sanitize or wash your hands frequently. Avoid large gatherings, especially indoors, of course. Get vaccinated.
All in all, the minister says all measures were implemented in order to garner positive outcomes and reduced risks of the spread of COVID-19.
We'll be right back when we return your sports authority and weather forecast.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to News Watch. Here's the latest in your sports authority and weather forecast.
After a month of competition, the H.J. Robinson High School has been crowned the champions of the 2021 Interscholastic Basketball League and 26th Annual Basketball Championship. The Grand Turk team faced off with longtime rivals Clement Howell High School for the title in a stiff contest for the win. 1 point separated the team at full time. A 63-62 win cemented H.J. Robinson's place in the history books. We spoke to the proud coach of the winning team, Omari Morris. Here's his initial reaction to the team's latest accomplishment.
It's actually really hard to believe because, you envision this moment so much times, but the second it gets here, I actually broke down in tears, and it's still unbelievable right now. As you can see, I can't help but smile right now, so I'm just taking it all in.
He added that going into it, his team was viewed as the underdogs and said that they never took their eyes off the prize despite of all the odds.
One of the things that we actually faced were we were notified late about the tournament, so we had to pick up our conditioning. So we were really out of shape at the beginning. But we actually embraced the adversity, and that's something that we preach entirely today, and we've been preaching throughout our whole sessions, every single session. And it's just been adversity. We wanted to outstack the Gangsters. Even by the way the game was played, it was amazing. That's what we wanted. And to pull it off is a great feeling because what we say now becomes reality. We like it. We like it. We like the adversity. We like the challenge. It makes us better. It makes us better. And he can say it. He's a little guy. Look at him. So actually being the underdog is what we wanted. We wanted the challenge. We wanted to become better. And I love it. I love it. And now say we're the national champions. We're Goliath now. And now we're the dogs on top.
Davari Daniel was the league's most valuable player, scoring 22 points, 2 steals, and 3 rebounds in the final game. He shared how he felt about the outcome of the tournament.
To be honest, I feel very wonderful. It's just a blessing and everything. As the coach said, same with him. I got a little bit of tears of joy also. After I heard the final buzz, I was so happy. Very happy, man. Definitely the one I hit on the wing of it. When I got the ball, the defender was in my face and I shot it and it went in. I think that probably was the moment that saved our game.
He also shared how he kept himself fired up throughout the tournament.
This is the moment I wanted. This is the moment we came here for. So in my head, I basically said, we have to win this championship. And so sometimes, like my last game, I didn't play as good as this game, but this is a very improved moment for me.
Coach Kevin Harvey from the Clement Howell High School also shared how he felt in the aftermath of the tournament.
I think we played well. We dominated the first 3 quarters, but the game is won in the 4th quarter and the stronger team came out with it. I give hats off to Coach Amadi. He did a heck of a job, and that's where the game at. It's on the floor and we leave it there. Well, when you have a year off, you know, it's anybody's game. It's who can get mentally ready. And it's a challenge getting mentally ready in 4 games, but it's what it is, you know. I think the kids did what they had to do tonight. A little bit sloppy here and there, but we make no excuse. Our rule is stay focused and no excuse. We live and we die by it.
Maranatha High, who were also contenders in the semifinals, managed to snag 3rd place in the tournament, outwitting the Margie Basin High School 64-62. For your Sports Authority, I'm Alik Harvey.
Here's your weather forecast for December 15th, 2021. For the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high 80, low 76, winds east at 20 to 30 miles per hour. For South Caicos, on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high 80, low 76, winds east at 20 to 30 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos, partly cloudy skies, high 81, low 76, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key, on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-northeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. And for Providenciales, on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-northeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Now for your sunrise and sunset. Sunrise 6:21 a.m., sunset 5:10 p.m., and your high tides and low tides 4:54 a.m., 5:12 p.m., and low tides 11:20 a.m., 11:11 p.m. And that's it for your weather forecast. We'll be right back with more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
The new Omicron variant has hit the region. Newswatch learns that this latest strain of COVID-19 is now in the Caribbean after emerging out of South Africa in late November. Here's a look.
Bermuda and Cuba are the latest countries to report cases of the Omicron variant just weeks after the new strain was announced to have made it from South Africa to the United States. In the case of Cuba, it is reported that the variant was detected in samples taken from a health worker returning from Mozambique. The man was said to be a part of Cuba's international health outreach team and had returned from Africa on November 27th. Shortly after his return, it is said that he developed a sore throat and fever and was immediately isolated. The individual was said to have come into contact with about 16 other persons who have all tested for COVID-19. In Bermuda, health authorities have confirmed the country's second case of the Omicron variant. The first case was reported last Tuesday, and officials say none of the individuals are under hospital care. As of December 13th, there were 43 cases of the new variant reported in the United States, and as scientists seek more information into the transmissibility and severity of the new strain, it is reported that of those 43 U.S. cases, only one person required hospitalization and no deaths have been reported. However, scientists say this is not a valid indicator, as young adults under the age of 40 represented most of these cases, where older persons would be at higher risk for severe outcomes. In speaking with Minister of Health Honorable Jamel Robinson last week on the emergence of the Omicron, this is what he had to say on his ministry's approach at reducing risk.
Persons might have wanted us to, I guess, go a little further and, kind of mimic what other countries have done, which is ban persons coming from the countries in Southern Africa, so to speak, where the Omicron variant was identified and arisen in that general part of the world. But a couple of things actually assisted us. The UK, Canada, and the US kind of did the banning for us.
Officials are expected to begin random testing for the Omicron variant soon. Stay tuned to that major announcement in Wednesday's newscast.
That brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Penales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.